All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name's Nicole, and welcome back to our English class. So I hope you had a pleasant evening so far. Today we are concluding our series on commonly mispronounced words by focusing on our final two categories, which will be travel and direction words, commonly mispronounced words that are related to travel and direction, and then technology and internet. Let's get started right away. But before that, just a reminder, clear and accurate pronunciation, as we know, it really plays a vital role in effective communication. So we will explore again on specific examples within each of these categories, and then we pay close attention to the correct pronunciations and understanding why these words often present challenges in pronouncing. All right. Let's begin with our first category for today's session. We have travel and direction words. So these are essential for getting around and exploring new places. First word for this is airport. Again, airport. One more time, airport. So, airport, by definition, it is where planes take off. Now, the word airport, it combines air and port, obviously. So the air part is generally straightforward. So it is pronounced with a clear diphthong, A. The diphthong sound here is A. So we know a diphthong is a vowel, contains a vowel that smoothly glides with another vowel to produce one syllable or to produce one sound. So there is a clear diphthong here. There's one that is A or diphthong, a diphthong A. Now, the trick often lies in the syllable port because many English learners or even native speakers might pronounce the R sound too strongly or they add an unnecessary emphasis to the final T. So in standard American English, we know that the R should be pronounced. And what do we call that? That is the characteristic of rhoticity. We have discussed that on our discussion on regional accents and pronunciation differences, where we talk or where we focus on three apparent Englishes, three apparent Englishes, which are American English, British English, and Australian English. Now, one of the characteristics that we have identified to differentiate the three is first the rhoticity. Now, we know and we understand that American English is rhotic by nature, where it pronounces the letter R sound, the letter R sound, may it be at the end of the word or before a consonant, which is very opposite with the other two, British English and Australian. It does not really totally pronounce the letter R sound um, to those places that I've mentioned earlier, which means that it is non-rhotic. Now, again, going back in standard American English, letter R is pronounced, yes. So it should be pronounced, but not overly rolled. So here, the letter R sound should not be overly rolled. Just relaxed your tongue a little bit, not totally stressed it out, but it should still pronounced or it should still produce a letter R sound. Now, excuse me. Now, we have the letter T sound. Okay. I have highlighted that particular sound in the common mistake column. Now, the T here, it should be soft. Now, it should be a soft stop of air, not prolonged. So, not harsh, not how do you call that? It does not. It should not be very long. You should not pronounce it too long, and it should not be harsh or hard. It should be soft. It should be soft T sound only. So there's like a quick stop of air in there. So that is not a T sound that is fully released, but it's quickly stopped because it is the letter T is put at the end of the word. So we pronounce it as soft as we can and then as quick as we can. So you can think of saying the word port. We know what a port is, right? So we're familiar that is a word. We can say that word on its own, port. The T is there, but it's subtle, right? Port, port. It's subtle. Now the same applies when it's part of the airport. So airport. There is a soft, the letter T sound is soft. It should not be airport, airports. It should not be too long. Just a quick stop at the right at the end of the word airport. Airport. So the mistake here is that there is really a visible R sound and T sound in the spelling, which leads to, over pronunciation of the word. And we aim here to pronounce the words as correctly as possible, as generally accepted by everyone as possible. Now, I've mentioned about the diphthong, right, on the first syllable, the A diphthong. So it is generally consistent here. The pronunciation of port can have slight variations. We take note of that. In some British English accents, the R at the end of syllable might be silent or very subtle since it's non-rhotic. I've mentioned that earlier. So you might hear airport, airport. Again, airport. So it is really, the letter R sound there is really not that clear because in British English, because yes, it is non-rhotic. I've mentioned it again and again, many times already. However, in most American English, we know that many other English speaking regions has really rhotic accents, so the R is clearly pronounced. Now, the softness of the final T, it is more, universal characteristic, so it is generally accepted. Now, think of it as a, gentle, just more of a physical visualization, physical tip. You can think of it as a gentle stop of the airflow rather than a sharp, explosive T sound that you might find at the beginning of a word. Since the T letter here as is at the end, is placed at the end of the word, it should not be explosive. It should not be harsh. It should not be very, very clear. It should have. It should only be, a gentle stop, because the opposite of it is how we pronounce the letters T sound when it is placed at the beginning of a word. Okay. Are we clear with that? Are we clear so far? This is the first word that we have. Now, just a quick tip for this. You can visualize an airplane gently coming to a stop at the port. So the landing area, that is it. The gentle stop reminds you of the soft T. Um just a tip, maybe it can help. So yes, you can do that. You can think about that. Let's have the second word. You say it like this. Tourist. Again, tourist. So this is a visitor to a place. Like you are in a foreign place, you are called as a tourist. Now, the common mistake here is that learners, English learners might simplify the less common diphthong here. There's a diphthong to in the first syllable, u. There's a diphthong there. So they try to simplify the less common diphthong to a more familiar vowel sound. Now, excuse me, sorry for that. Now, that is common mistake. Tourist. All right. Here I've mentioned about the diphthong in tour. Now it is sometimes, closer to or, like tor, like for, something like that. It is closer to that. And learners are, there's familiarity with it. So sometimes English learners tend to use that particular familiar sound to this word, which is, of course, not correct because it should be tourist, not tourist, not tourist, not totally relaxed. So tourist, it should not be tourist. It should be tourist. However, in here, the key difference it lies in the starting position of the vowel. For O, your lips are more, rounded initially. So it is similar to the U in the pool, like tour, pool. So it's more rounded before you move to a schwa sound here. Now the schwa sound here, we know that the symbol of a schwa sound in the IPA transcription is this one, upside down E. So that is where we say the schwa sound here. It's also in the first syllable. For the common mistake, which is tor, the mouth is generally more open from the start, as you've noticed. Now pay attention to, how English speakers or native speakers, and you listen to how they pronounce the words like poor, sure, um, tour. Yeah, you can also use tour to get a feel for this diphthong. So again, in tourist, you can tell if you are pronouncing the word correctly if your lips is more rounded and smaller, and then if it is more open from the start, then that is wrong. So it should be more rounded initially. All right, and it is not too open. So it should be tourist, not tourist, but tourist. All right. Next we have luggage. One more time, luggage. Again, luggage. Now here, the confusion is over the hard G sound in the English. Now we know that this particular letter G, there this has two different versions, two different distinct sounds depending on how it is used in the word. It can be first the sound, it can be g, 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 or it could be j, j, like the letter J. So that is the different versions of these letter, the sound of this letter. Now that's where the confusion is placed over how this particular word should be pronounced. Now the soft G sound here in the second syllable, because this is the where the confusion is, so we focused on that. Now the soft G sound here is really crucial because if you pronounce it with a hard G, as in gag, it sounds quite different and of course incorrect. It isn't the proper way to say it. One way to confirm is to think about a related word like baggage, which also ends with the h sound, and the stress is firmly on the first syllable, like baggage, luggage. So that's how you distinctly pronounce this word properly. So sometimes learners might try to pronounce it with three syllables, which is obviously not correct. They might say this word as luggage. Again, they commonly mistake or they mistakenly say this word as luggage, which is not its correct pronunciation. It should be luggage, luggage, where it has two syllables only. So Again, the letter G here is soft. We do not say also luggage, but it should be luggage. All right. You can, a type is that you can imagine struggling to carry heavy luggage. So the effort might help you to remember the G pronunciation. You can do that. Next, we have passport. Again, passport. Now, pass is pronounced with a short sound like in cat. And there is also a clear S sound here. So port again has that or sound with a pronounced letter R. So the key here is the final T in the spelling. Now the visible T in the spelling, as you've noticed in the common mistake, it leads to, an attempt to pronounce it. So the complete silence of the final T can be, counterintuitive because it is clearly written. So the phenomenon occurs in the English words, often those with, French origins. Though passport itself has a Dutch and French roots. So this should be mentioned, or this should be pronounced as passport, as you can see also on its IPA transcription. And when we say passport, by definition, it is a travel document. It is what you use at the airport. It is what you use to travel. That is a passport. Again, passport. I think there should not be a silent final T here, but yeah, in some regional accents, they say passport as passport. Like they do not clearly say the letter T at the end. And that's okay because, yes, we accept regional accents, we accept different Englishes. But that is okay. But, we try to learn, if we try to learn English and it's the pronunciation of the words, we try to learn those that are generally accepted by many because it's generally accepted. So we say this word as passport with a T sound. All right. Is that clear? Okay. Next, we have taxi. Again, taxi. It is a car for hire. Now, people, they usually, it's very subtle. The difference actually, the mistake here is very subtle, but we try to address these mistakes so that it will not lead to more major problems in the future. So the very subtle difference or mistake that people do is that they say it as taxi, not taxi. Taxi. Like there's a very clear k sound there, letter K sound there. It's very harsh, it's very hard, it's very visible in how we pronounce the word, and it should not be. It should be like subtle K sound there. So it should be taxi, not taxi. And also, the letter A. This one, the one highlighted, it should not be a straight A sound because that's not how it looks like. It should be like A sound, close to A, but not totally A. So it should be taxi. Taxi, you relax your jaw slowly. Taxi, not taxi. All right. So that is the difference. Next, we have a very easy one, hotel. Again, hotel. Now, this is our place to stay when we travel. Of course, we stay to hotel unless we have like a home or we have someone that we can stay, some place that we can stay with. So unless we don't, usually we stay at a hotel. No, yes, because this is a place to stay. So people commonly mistake this word as hotel, 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 hotel. So I've pronounced the word, the very beginning, as hotel. Hotel. So there's a diphthong there. Oh, oh, that's a diphthong. So I uses hotel. I use ho. I use o. I used a diphthong to make the word or make this first syllable in the word hotel, which is ho. So it sounds like a hoe, like HOE, like a gardening tool. So the second syllable is very easy, it's just tell. It has a short E sound as in bed. And there's, of course, a clear L sound there. And the crucial aspect here is also the stress, which falls on the second syllable, hotel. Again, hotel. So this is often the case with words of, French origin that have been adapted into English because there are many of that words. Now, yes, learners might, incorrectly stress the first syllable too, like hotel, hot, hotel, not hotel. It should be hotel, hotel, not hotel, hotel. So hotel, hotels. It like stress should be on the second syllable, not on the first syllable. And then it should also there's also like they follow like a common pattern in English nouns. So we should not it should be done like that. We follow the common pattern in English noun rather than um recognizing that despite we know that when we identify a sound or like as a word in its part of speech, if we say noun, it should be the first syllable that is stressed. That is correct because that's how I discussed it in our previous discussions, on our previous sessions. But then again, I've also mentioned here that this word has a French origin that is adapted into English. And when we take that into consideration, there are many times that that particular rule in stressed syllable, it will not be um, it will not be applied. Just like for this word, hotel. This is a noun. Hotel is a noun, but the stressed here is on the second syllable, which is unlikely of the rule that I've mentioned in our previous discussion. It is because we recognize it's adapted to English. So the final syllable, be reminded, everyone, you should understand that the final syllable stress is a common characteristic of many loan words in French. No matter this part of speech it is, there are still words that is accepted as a noun, as a noun, but the stressed syllable is on the second syllable, which is unlikely of the rule that we've mentioned in the previous discussion, right? Because if it is second syllable that is stressed, it should be verb. But then, yes, it is not totally applied when we say those words that are loan. No, there are various characteristic for that one. So that's another information that what that it makes the English very tricky. So English is hard, but we try to understand it. All right. So this is again hotel. The stress is on tell. The stress is on second syllable. All right. Next, the last one for this slide, ticket. Again, ticket. Now, ticket has two distinct syllables. It should be two clear syllables, both with short E sounds. Now, the first syllable is tick, tick, which ends with a clear key sound, K sound. So it should be like that. Then the second syllable, tick, it, which also has a, you know, it also has a, I think there is, yeah, there is like a k sound there, followed by a soft T. I know, not K, but like E sound there, followed by a soft T, though sometimes the final T can be very subtle. So that's it. Now, the key is to pronounce both syllables clearly and avoid blending them into one sound. Because learners here, they tend to rush the pronunciation, which merge the two syllables, like they say ticket, 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 ticket. It should be ticket, ticket. Like you pronounce those two distinct sounds very clearly because it should have two clear syllables. While both syllables have short E sound, they should be distinct. So you should avoid merging them into a single mumbled sound because the key sound here is clear in both syllables. So the final T is usually a soft stop, which is similar to T in the airport if you've remembered the first word that we've discussed. But because it's at the end of the word, it might be slightly more noticeable than the one in the airport. So yes, that's how we understand how we pronounce this word. Ticket. Again, ticket. So the rhythm of the word is stressed and then unstressed. Ticket. Ticket, not ticket. Okay, not ticket. It should be ticket. Ticket. All right. Now, that is the last word for this slide. We've discussed seven words in total already for travel and direction words. Now, let's have a practice drill. So it's time to practice. The rule here is that I will say the word and then the sentence, and then you say it with me. Just practice just practice the word and the sentences, how you say the word in a sentence on your own. I know you will do it. I'm confident. I'm trusting you with that. All right, let's begin. Airport. Airport. We arrived at the airport. Tourist. Tourist. The tourist took photos. Luggage. Luggage. Collect your luggage here. Passport. Passport. Show your passport. Taxi. Taxi. We took a taxi to the hotel. 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 They stayed in a hotel. Ticket. Ticket. Here's your train ticket. One more time. Airport, tourist, luggage, passport, taxi, hotel, and ticket. Alright, let's immediately continue with another set of travel and direction words, starting with direction. Again, direction. Now, here, direction by definition is way to go. So direction's direction. Now here, the first syllable is pronounced with a short E sound, like the E in dinner. So D, direction, D, dinner. So that's how you say the first syllable. Now, the second syllable here is rec, rec, which has a short E sound like in bed. Bed, rec, eh, eh. That's how you say it. Direct, direction, direction, rec. And then the final syllable is shon, that is pronounced like how when we try to spell it, it is shun. That's how you pronounce the last syllable, shun. Very quick, shun. So when we try to combine these distinct sounds, we will have direction, direction. Okay, pronounce it more naturally. Direction. Again, direction. So don't, overemphasize the letter E sound because you might not clearly pronounce a short E sound in the second syllable, like direction. That you shouldn't, overly emphasize with that one. It should be direction. Direction. All right. Next, we have subway. What is it? Subway. Now, the first syllable here, sub, has a short sound there, like cup. So this is the short sound. That's that one. All right. So the second syllable is way. Very easy. There is also a diphthong here. Way. So that's a diphthong. This one. That is a diphthong. So subway. When we pronounce the two distinct sounds into one or in succession, subway, subway. More natural, subway. Now, subway is an underground train. So that's very easy. This one is very easy. All right. Next, we have station. Again, station. The first syllable is sta, which is pronounced as the word stay. So it should be st. stay, stay, stay. So basically, the word stay. That's how you pronounce the first syllable in this word stay. There is a clear diphthong here. This one, that's a diphthong. All right. The second syllable is shon, like shun, shon, like shon in direction. So the common mistake of station, it often involves, using a short a sound as in cat, like station. That's how that's a common mistake for some people. They say it as station instead of station. So take note of that, everyone. This word should be pronounced as station. Station. Just like this one, huh? As you can see in the tip, that is how you say it basically. Station. Alright. Next we have very easy one. Tour. Tour. Again, tour. So tour as in same as pronouncing or enunciating tour. There is also a diphthong there. Tour. Tour. Once again, tour. Tour. Now it is very unlikely, but there are still some people who pronounce this word as tour. Tour. It adds, an unnecessary second syllable, which is what we should not do. So it should be tour, not tour. All right. It should be, again, tour. All right. Next, we have reservation. Reservation. Again, reservation. Sorry for that. Reservation. So reservation is basically booking when you reserve something from a restaurant, for example, or a hotel. You reserved for a future meetings, future vacations. That is booking. Now, here, this word has four syllables. There are four distinct sounds for this reservation. Now the stress here, it falls on the third syllable, which is on ve, reservation. Reservation. The first syllable, it has a short a sound like in bed. Reservation. And then there's a schwa sound also. Schwa sound is that upward e there, upside down e. So the final syllable is Sean, very easy. We know that how to pronounce that one, Sean. So the common mistake of stressing the second syllable here is it disrupts the natural rhythm of the word in English because sometimes people put the stress in the second syllable rather than on the third syllable. So they say it like this: reservation, reservation. It should be reservation, reservation. So there is an incorrect syllable stress there, which is possibly influenced by stress patterns in other languages or simply guessing. So how you pronounce this one is reservation. Stress syllable. Syllable that is stressed is on the third one, ve. Next we have foreign. Again, foreign, which is from another country. That's the definition. Now the first syllable here is very easy. For like it is pronounced with a for like a vowel sound like the O in hot. It is not hot but hot. For. It is not for but for. For. So the second syllable here is ain. Ain, which is reduced to a schwa sound. There's also a schwa sound there. Very quick. The crucial point is that there is a silent G sound here, which is the fa. The common mistake of pronouncing the letter G is understandable because silent letters is really not that familiar to beginners or English learners because there are many words in English that has a silent letter in it. We cannot really guess by rule which words should have a silent letters or which words should not have a silent letter. We should be familiar with the word itself. That's how we identify silent letters, which is very tricky because it's really hard to identify that one because what we do here is memorize, be familiar with the word. We do not follow any rule. We do not use any rule to differentiate which word should have silent letters. We should be familiar with the word itself. That's what makes it hard. All right, going back, yes, there should be a silent G here. It shouldn't be pronounced as forig. Forig. I don't know how they pronounce it, but there should be a silent G here. So maybe they say it as forig for some reason, but everyone, this should be pronounced as foreign, foreign, foreign. All right. Last one, we have arrival. Again, arrival. One more time, arrival. This is coming to a place by definition. Now this word has three syllables. The stress here falls on the second syllable, which is ri. There is a diphthong there, I. There's one. Let me highlight that one. Yeah, that is a diphthong. So there's a diphthong on the second syllable, and then in the second syllable there that it should be stressed. That's the syllable in the word that should be stressed. So the first syllable, a, is a schwa sound. So it's very quick. The final syllable is val, which is a short sound, as in cup, val, cup. All right. Though it can sometimes sound closer to a schwa sound, which is which is how people say this word. There is, it is sometimes sound closer to a schwa sound, but it's not totally a schwa sound. Now the common mistake is stressing the first syllable like arrival, which changed the emphasis and sounds incorrect in English. So there's incorrect syllable stress here. Again, as I've mentioned earlier, the syllable stress is on the second syllable. So arrival, it's on the right, not on a. Again, arrival. So that's how you say it again. Arrival. All right. Those are the last set of words for travel and direction. Let's immediately have the practice. Let's have a practice drill for those words. Same rule. I'll say the word and its corresponding sentence, and then you say it with me on your own there. All right. Let's have the first one. Direction. Direction. Ask for, sorry for that. Ask for directions. Subway. Subway. Take the subway downtown. Station. Station. We are at the train station. Tour. Tour. They went on a city tour. Reservation. Reservation. I made a reservation at the hotel. Foreign. Foreign. She speaks a foreign language. Arrival. Arrival. The flight's arrival is delayed. All right. One more time. Direction. Subway. Station. Tour. Reservation. Foreign. Arrival. All right. Okay. All right, everyone. Let's have the next and the last context for commonly mispronounced word, and that is on. I'm sorry, I think I haven't edited it, but yeah, this is on technology and internet. I'm sorry for that. It should be technology and internet. I think it's also the same one. Yeah. But yes, it should be on technology and internet. All right. Why I included this one? Because it's also very important to know the very different terms, English terms, that we use with technology and internet. Because technology and internet is a trend now, right? We can't live with these two. We cannot connect online with these two. We cannot connect with other people around the world despite the distance without these two. So we try to understand the different terms, the different words that are commonly used and commonly mispronounced under this topic, under this theme, which is on technology and internet, because it is apparent in our lives. It is part of our lives already. All right, let's have the first one. The first one is Kosh. Kosh. All right. What is it again? Cache. Very easy. Cache. Now, cache refers to a temporary storage area for quick access. So the common mistake of pronouncing it is cache. Cache. So sometimes people say it as cache, or even sometimes people say it as cache. Cache. But yet again, the correct pronunciation is cache. Cache. So I think people some mistakenly pronounce it because of its spelling, like cache or cache. But we should be reminded that it should be pronounced as easy as we can, like cash. Cash like money. So yes, that's basically how we say it. Very simple. Cash. So here, um, it should be there is a tip there. I'm sorry. The tip is just the sound like kush. Very easy. This is a very easy word, everyone. You should you should not just, mispronounce it as cage or cache. Cache, like how like you pronounce it how it is spelled. It shouldn't be like that. It should be cash. Very easy. The sound is like there is an sound there. As in not as in there's a short sound there. Like cash. Cash. Cash, bad, cat, something like that. So kush. These letters is pronounced as sh, sh. That's how you pronounce the word. When you try to combine it with first syllable, okay, oh, it's only one syllable, but yeah, when you try to go to add this one, it should be kush, kush. All right. Next we have algorithm. Again, algorithm. So there is a voice th sound here, and it is algorithm. Algorithm is a set of a set of rules to solve a problem. That is a complex word with multiple syllables. Algorithm, algorithm. So the common mistake of this word is they say it is algorithm, algorithm, which often involves dropping or mispronouncing some of the less stressed syllables. So the correct pronunciation, it requires clear pronunciation or clear articulation of all four syllables. So pronounce all syllables clearly. So that's how you do it. That's how you should do it. All right. So here we say it as algorithm. Remember, the th sound should be voiced, and how we can check that is we just feel the vibration in our throat. If it vibrates again, it is voiced. If it's not, then it's not voiced. So we say it is algorithm. It vibrates, so it is voiced. Algorithm, not algorithm, huh? But algorithm. All right. Okay. That is algorithm. Very easy. Next, we have GIF or GIF. I don't know. GIF, only GIF. It can be a GIF. So GIF is graphics. It is an acronym. It is an acronym for graphics interchange format. So it is a famously debated pronunciation. The common mistake listed is GIF, as in soft G sound. But here, in it's like in giraffe, something like that. However, the tip correctly points out that a hard G, like gift, is also very common and considered acceptable by many, so including the creator of the GIF format. Therefore, both pronunciations are valid. So it should either be GIF or GIF. That both pronunciations are correct. Both pronunciations are accepted. So this is GIF, like this one, the first IP transcription, that's GIF or GIF. And this word or this acronym means graphics interchange format. All right. Let's have the fourth one, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. It is a compound shortened word, I guess. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi means wireless networking technology. So the common mistake is people say it is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, which mispronounces the second part. So both Y and Fi should be pronounced with a long I sound or a diphthong I. This one. As you can see, there's an I there. There's also an I in the beginning. That's a diphthong. So it should have the same diphthong sound. Y, Fi's. It's crucial to give equal, stress to both syllables to reflect the intended pronunciation. Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi. It should be Wi-Fi. Equal stress only. Next, we have domain. Again, domain. Domain has two syllables. The common mistake of domain, which uses a short R sound like in cop, in the first syllable is common. So the correct pronunciation, it uses a long O sound, like O as in dough, something like that. Dough, or domain, not domain, but domain, not domain. So the second syllable is very easy. It's just pronounced as main, which also has a diphthong. There's one that's a diphthong. Main, main, like main road, something like that. All right. Next, we have malware. Again, malware. Malware is a software designed to harm a system, so this is not good. The common mistake is people say it is malware. Again, malware, that is not the correct sound. That is not how you pronounce the first syllable. It should be pronounced as how it looks like malware. Not mall. Not malware, but malware. There's a short ah sound like in cut. Malware. All right? Malware. Next, and the last word, the seventh word for technology and internet, which is router. Router. Again, router. One more time. Router. It is the device that forwards data packets. So it refers to a networking device. The common mistake of router uses diphthong as in rowboat in the first syllable. So the correct pronunciation, it uses the U vowel sound as in root. I'm sorry for that. I think I mentioned the incorrect pronunciation. Let me correct myself. I stand corrected. It is router. Router, not router, right? Router. So the second syllable is ter, very easy. It has a schwa sound very quickly. So it's very quick. So this word, it should be router. Again, router. It sounds like router, not router. This is a device that forwards data packets. All right. Those are the first set of words for technology and internet. Are we ready for a practice? A practice drill? Let's immediately start with the practice drill. All right. Same rules, same pattern. Okay. Cache. Cache. Clear your browser cache regularly. Clear your browser cache regularly. Algorithm. Algorithm. The search engine uses a complex algorithm. The search engine uses a complex algorithm. TH sound is voiced. GIF or GIF. GIF or GIF. She sent a funny GIF in the chat. She sent a funny GIF in the chat. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi signal is strong here. The Wi-Fi signal is strong here. There should be an equal stress on both syllables. Domain. Domain. What is the website's domain name? What is the website's domain name? All right. Malware. Malware. Install antivirus software to protect against malware. Install antivirus software to protect against malware. Malware. Router. Router. Have you tried restarting the router? Have you tried starting the router? All right. Again, one more time. Cache. Algorithm. GIF or GIF. Wi-Fi. Domain. Malware. Router. That is the first set of words for technology and internet. Let's have The last set, another 7 words. Let's immediately continue with plugin. Again, plugin, it's a software add-on, like an extension. Plugin. So the common mistake of pronouncing the letter G sound with a hard G as in go, it likely stems from the direct spelling. However, in this word, the in short, as in cup, this one, alright, this one, there is a short sound there, and the G retains its standard sound before I or before E. So you can think of a sound in the word plug. Let's plug in, plug in. Short sound there, plug in. Next, we have firewall. Firewall. It is a network security system. So firewall is a compound word, fire plus wall. The common mistake of blending it into firewall. It obscures the distinct parts. So the correct pronunciation, it requires clearly enunciating both fire and wall. They should be separate components, although it is a one word because yes, it is a compound word. One word plus one word will will give us a compound word. Despite that, um, they should be pronounced as separate components. You should not immediately blend it. So it's firewall. Firewall. Pronounce both parts clearly. Next, we have Ethernet. Ethernet. One more time. Ethernet. There's a soft, unvoiced TH sound here. Excuse me for that. I'm sorry. Going back, it's Ethernet. Ethernet. Again, Ethernet. So Ethernet means a wired network technology. So it refers to a networking technology. The common mistake here is Ethernet. It uses a long E sound at the beginning, which is, of course, not correct. The correct pronunciation should be using short S sound, like in bed. So Ethernet, not Ethernet, but Ethernet. All right, short E in the second syllable also. Next is avatar. Avatar, online representation of a user. That is avatar. It is an online representation. So the common mistake here is saying avatar, like have, avatar, 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 which uses long sound in the first syllable. Avatar. So the correct pronunciation, it uses short sound like in cut. Avatar. Avatar. So the stress is also on the first syllable. Avatar. Avatar. So the mistake here, it misrepresents the vowel sound in the first syllable, which possibly influenced the word visual similarity to have. So avatar. Avatar. It is a long sound, which should not be, because it should be a short sound like cut. So it should be avatar, not avatar. All right. Next, we have FAQ. FAQ, very easy. We pronounce it by letter FAQ. FAQ means frequently asked questions. Again, frequently asked questions. So common mistake is some people say it as how it looks like fuck. That's how they say it. It should be, but yet again, I mentioned that we pronounce it as its 3 distinct letters. So it's more on initialism. Like FAQ, we pronounce the letters as it is. So yes, again, the common mistake of pronouncing it as a single word, because it's very, like a single word fact. It is understandable as many initialisms become words, like NASA, something like that. So there is that familiarity with pronouncing these kind of words into one. You blend it. But then again, this particular word should be pronounced by letters like FAQ. You spell out the letters. You do not say this. Common mistake. All right. But I think yeah, and tip. It says here you can also say this one. Maybe I guess because it is increasingly common and accepted, but yet again, I have already mentioned it many times. We try to say a particular pronunciation of a word that is generally accepted. And what is generally accepted for this word? It is to say it as FAQ. All right. Next, we have meme. Again, meme, which refers to humorous image, video, etc. So it's a cultural phenomenon online. Now, the common mistake is very easy. People say it as how it looks like, so they say it as meme, meme. Okay, meme. But yet again, this word should be pronounced as meme. You do not pronounce the last E letter in the word. So there's a silent E there. It should be pronounced as meme, not meme. But yes, this should be pronounced as meme. 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 It should you be using long E sound, so meme, not meme. I'm sorry for that. Meme. Again, meme, not meme. Meme. Once again, meme. Lastly, we have podcast. I think you're very familiar with this one. Podcast. It is a digital audio or video file, so it's a combination of iPod and broadcast. Podcast. iPad, that one, iPod, and broadcast. So that's a combination of the two words. So here, the common mistake is podcast. They say it as podcast. So here, they also try to, yeah, that one, podcast. Podcast, they say it is like that. Although understandable because it's a subtle difference between the correct pronunciation, which is podcast. You notice, just look at how my lips formed or how my mouth formed when I say the two distinct or two different pronunciation. First, the correct one, podcast, podcast. One more time, podcast. For the common mistake, podcast, podcast. The common mistake is more, it produces more rounder lips rather than the correct ones. All right. And that is, I think, the last one. Let's immediately have the practice drill. It's time to practice. Same rule, same pattern. Let me start. Plug in, plug in. You need a plugin to view this content. You need a plugin to view this content. Firewall, firewall. Make sure your firewall is enabled. Make sure your firewall is enabled. Ethernet. Again, Ethernet. Connect your computer with an Ethernet cable. Connect your computer with an Ethernet cable. Avatar. Avatar. Choose a cool avatar for your profile. Again, choose a cool avatar for your profile for a while. Alright. Avatar. That's avatar. FAQ. Again, FAQ. Check the FAQ section for answers. Check the FAQ section for answers. Podcast. 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 I listen to a technology podcast every week. Again, I listen to a technology podcast every week. And that, I think, are all the words that we will be we will be discussing for today's session. So those are the words under travel and destination, as well as technology and internet. And before we end, let's have a recall of those words that we've discussed. I'll say the word, repeat after me. Okay, let's have the first one. Airport. Airport. Your turn. All right. Tourist. Tourist. Your turn. Very good. Luggage. Luggage. Your turn. Okay, good. Passport. Passport. Your turn. Excellent. Hotel. No, not yet. Taxi. Taxi. Okay. Hotel. Hotel. You? Okay, very good. Ticket. Ticket. Yes. Direction. Direction. All right. Subway. Subway. Station. Station. Very good. Tour. Very easy one. Tour. Okay. Reservation. Reservation. Very good. Foreign. Foreign. Okay. Arrival. Again. Arrival. All right. One more time. For travel and direction, I'll run through it. I'll read it immediately. Read it as fast as I can, as quick as I can. You should read it with me also in your own place, comfortable place. All right. For travel and direction, these are the words that we have discussed: airport, tourist, luggage, passport, taxi, hotel, ticket, direction, subway, station, tour, reservation, foreign, arrival. Those are for travel and direction. Let's have technology and internet. Same rule, same pattern. I'll say it, you say it also after me. Gosh, gosh. Algorithm, algorithm. Very good. There's a voice TH sound here. GIF or GIF. Okay. Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi. All right, very good. Domain, domain. Your turn. Okay. Malware, malware. Excellent. Router, router. All right, very good. Plugin, plugin. Okay. Firewall, firewall. Very good. Ethernet. Ethernet. I'm sorry for that. Ethernet. Okay. Avatar, avatar. All right. FAQ, FAQ. Very easy one. Meme, meme. All right. Podcast, podcast. Okay, that's the last word. I read it. We'll read it again as fast as we can, and you read it with me. All right. For technology and internet, these are the words that we have discussed: cache, algorithm, GIF or GIF, Wi-Fi, domain, malware, router, plugin, firewall, Ethernet, avatar, FAQ, meme, podcast. Okay, so those are the words for technology and internet. And these are all the words that we have discussed for today's session. And that brings us to the end of our session, everyone, where we focused on these two important areas of, commonly mispronounced words. Again, those are for travel and direction, as well as technology and the internet, which is an ever present world of that one. So, this session, everyone, it also marks the conclusion of our series. I've already mentioned it earlier. This also marks our conclusion of the series on tackling those tricky English words or commonly mispronounced words. So, throughout this series, we've gained valuable insights into how subtle aspects of pronunciation, such as vowel and consonant sounds, silent letters, there's also syllable stress, and voiced and unvoiced versions of a sound. All of those mentioned things can often lead to incorrect incorrect pronunciation of words, and that will lead to misunderstandings in communication. So everyone, Under commonly mispronounced words, we've talked about different contexts. First session, we had everyday conversations in workplace. For the second session, we had words that are related to food as well as school. And for today's session, we focused on travel and direction words and technology and internet words. Now again, all of this just to sound more natural, it just requires, consistent practice. Always remember that consistent practice and paying attention to how these words are used in real conversations and media will continue to improve your pronunciation. You should be consistent with practice. That's just how you better yourself in pronouncing these words. Consistent practice. So don't be afraid to make mistake despite how many times you practice. There are still some words that you might not be able to pronounce still properly, but do not be afraid of those mistakes because that's part of the learning process, and we accept that kind of learning process. So again, consistent practice is the key to sounding more natural, everyone. So that's how you that's how you achieve sounding more fluent and more natural in speaking English. Just practice and practice. Practice properly, of course. So I think that's it. Thank you all for your active participation over the 3 sessions. I hope this has been helpful for you. Keep practicing again, and I wish you all the best in your English language journey. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. This is Nicole. Goodbye.